Hello everyone, I'm Manal and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the books that we read when we're sad. This is a list of my personalized recommendations that I use both when I'm not happy, the traditional meaning of the word sad, but also when I'm feeling seasonal affect disorder, the short version of which is sad. So here are some books that I hope will bring some brightness and joy into your autumny lives. The first book that I want to talk about is Pride and Prejudice. This book is a classic written in the 1800s by our beloved Jane Austen. These kind of novels send me to a place that's so cozy and comfy that I feel like I'm wrapped in Darcy's arms and in Jane Austen's embrace. This book and other books by Jane Austen, George Eliot, even Ethan Frome, who comes a bit later. These kind of books, society novels as I would like to call them, really make me feel like I am having the hustling, bustling life of an Austenian heroine like Elizabeth or Emma. What are your favorite novels from this era? Tell me below. Going along with the cozy, comfy feels of our first novel that we picked, Pride and Prejudice, the second one I want to talk about is much more recent. Naomi Novik's Spinning Silver. If you haven't heard of this, please pick it up because spoiler, it has a happy ending. Happy ending books are so necessary when you're sad and when you're down. In this book, Miriam is the daughter of Jewish moneylenders, and her world turns upside down when she starts working as a moneylender, and she becomes so good at it that she catches the attention of an elven lord. If you're into Daemon Targaryen right now, you're gonna find this book steamy, spicy, and also perfection. Keeping in line with our books with happy endings, I have P.G. Wodehouse's short story collection here. He lived in the 19th century and the early 1900s. He wrote novels and short stories concerning aristocratic men who were either falling in love with other women, breaking engagements, and playing pranks on each other. It's very quintessentially British. It's got that boarding school kind of energy and it's hilarious. A lot of people don't know about P.G. Wodehouse, but the favorite stories of mine from P.G. Wodehouse are Jeeves and Wooster stories. So Jeeves is Wooster's butler, and it's just hilarious to see how he takes his master out of damning situations. It's really, really funny, and I always laugh and I always have a good time. It's an innocent world where aristocrats are just naive and cute, and I love that, and they don't have any societal impact beyond that. That kind of cozy vibe where things you do have no consequences is hilarious, and it's really funny, and the irony sometimes makes me laugh so hard. Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie have done a great series, Jeeves and Wooster, that you can watch this a little bit to see if this is your type of humor and if it's something you might enjoy. Now, this book might not really have a happy ending throughout. There's always plots and twists and people dying, but Harry Potter, the first one especially, here I have the British edition of the Philosopher's Stone, also known as the Sorcerer's Stone. Anything I read during the time period when I was a kid takes me back to this cozy world as if I was someone who went to Hogwarts, and I know a lot of readers feel alive, comforted, like they're in the arms of their own mother when they're reading something that they've read when they were young. For me, it's definitely Harry Potter. I have a couple others, but Harry Potter defined my friendships, who I hung out with, what clubs I joined. And it also was a thing that made me today a YouTuber. If I hadn't met Harry Potter through J.K. Rowling's books, I may never have started reading the way I did. Now, the fifth fantasy book that I have in this list is Sally Rooney, Beautiful World, Where Are You? And this book I picked because you can mess up your life and everything will be okay. And this book is absolute proof of this. This book is quintessential Sally Rooney. I absolutely adore the way Sally Rooney takes feelings that we have every day as teenagers, as young adults, as middle-aged adults, and distills them in a way that I cannot even express my own emotions. That feeling of being lost, of desire, of falling out of desire, of having no point to your life and feeling like you can't make your way into the world. Sally Rooney shows us through these characters of Alice and Felix that our lives, yes, we may fuck up sometimes, that our life is more beautiful than we think it is. Now we're done with all my books that I have in my fiction pile, and the first book that I want to show in my nonfiction is 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. This book by Brianna Wiest. It's so fantastic because look at the highlights that I have. All of these tabs just show you how excellent this book is, how many essays I've saved. It is absolutely fantastic. You'll always find an essay that will open up your eyes to a topic that you want to take further. And they're so short, you can have it while drinking coffee, while on your lunch break, or on your 10-minute break at work. In the self-help guide that will help you out of a day that you're sad is How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LePera. She is absolutely one of my favorite psychologists online. The things that she puts out on her Instagram and her TikTok are absolutely fantastic. You can find her at Holistic Psychologist. The resources that she shares are eye-opening. Your problems can be fixed by you without even going to a therapist. And I know that because of this attitude, psychologists elsewhere really hate her, but it has changed my life. Reading this book has changed my chronic illnesses in a way that I can deal with it. And on a day like this, where it's dark and gray and gloomy outside, this is the kind of book you can pick up that will actually work you through exercises you can do yourself that may just change not just your autumn and your winter, but it might change your outlook on your life. Now here's a book that I am obsessed with that you probably have never heard anybody recommend, and it's the Prado Museum Guide. This book is by the Museo Nacional del Prado, which is in Madrid, and it is absolutely fantastic because of the artwork inside of it. You have huge portraits and you have huge texts beside it that go deep into the history, the psychology, the artwork, everything that you want to know about a piece of art that exists at the Museo del Prado is in here. And I got this when I was in Spain, but you can also find it on Amazon. And every museum, every art museum that I go to around the world, I go and look at their museum guide in English, and none of the guidebooks I have seen so far compare to this one, because this one, the collection there was of the Spanish monarch, and his collection is exquisite. It's not like the Louvre or the British Museum or the National Gallery in London, where these colonialists went and poached artwork from around the world. This king actually commissioned work, right? And that makes the Spanish collection in Museo del Prado very, very, very special. And the love and labor that went into collecting these images and writing explanations below is just exquisite. I've never seen a book like this before, and I read it cover to cover and I was not disappointed. The pictures, the discussions took me to a different place, a different time, and it totally took me out of any sad moments I might have had. And last but not least is the love sonnets of Ghalib. And Ghalib, this book is so thick, and it shows this testament to Ghalib, the South Asian Urdu-speaking, Urdu-writing poet's art. He was born in the 18th century, and he happens to be, shameless plug, he happens to be a great, great, great uncle of mine. And he is the most famous poet of all time in South Asia. His love poems were so sad, so infinitely sad, that you might shed a tear or two while reading it. And by the way, this is all in translation. So it's got the English, it's got the translation, it's got like the explanation for what you're reading, and it's got the Urdu script in case you do speak Urdu. Now this book, you know when you're feeling so sad that you just want to watch something really sad or read something really sad and just drown in your sadness? This is that kind of book. When you want to drown in sadness and you don't want to be happy and you're not ready to come out of your sadness yet, this is the book that I will pick up and I will read a poem, and then I might rewrite it into my journal because I'm that kind of nerd. And oh my god, it is so damn good. Even if you're not South Asian, you can appreciate it so much. And especially if you're Indian, if you do not own this book, The Love Sonnets of Ghalib, this is fantastic. It's better than the online translations and transliterations you can find anywhere online. So don't use the free resources, actually get this book. It is so worth your money. I hope these 9 books help cure your sadness, your winter, autumn sadness, and that you find beautiful, peaceful moments throughout your days. Goodbye.